Hey guys, it's Sean Reese here, and I know it's been quite some time since I have made a video and put it on the channel. I got a new job that requires me to be at work for a lot of hours for not so many days, but you know, it's very busy. I like helping people, so that's all I can say about it right now. So today we're going to do a brand new build with one of the new Ryzen 3000 processors. Just something small, light and moderate. If you guys decided that you kind of wanted to get into the new PC gaming scene, didn't know what you quite wanted to use, we got some fantastic parts here that we're going to go over in a second that'll give you, I wouldn't say cheap, but more as in low cost to kind of get you into PC gaming, but give you enough room to grow that if you ever wanted to change maybe processors or a GPU or any other components of the computer, this build right here will kind of give you that room to grow, give you that little bit of headroom. What we got here is the Thermaltake Versa H18TG. So this is a not a mid tower, it's an ATX, I think it's an ATX mid tower case. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but it has a very small footprint. So this is to definitely accommodate the people who maybe don't have a whole lot of space that they have for a larger case, but it'll give you enough expandability for GPUs and things of that nature. Speaking of GPUs, we're gonna go ahead and put in a Asus Strix 1650 Ti. Of course, this will be one of the first times that I'll actually put this graphics card and something, and it'll go pretty well with what we have here. Oh yeah, a brand new Ryzen 3200G. So of course, this does have Vega graphics in it. It is an APU from AMD, and the reason that we're just not using the APU in the processor itself is more as like a backup. So if your GPU doesn't if your GPU stops working, or you want to swap it out, or for whatever reason you can't afford one, you still have the backup using using the integrated graphics that's in the CPU right now. Of course, it's not the 3400G, but at $99, I think this is a really good starting option. It's 4 cores, 4 threads, and for strictly gaming, light workloads, this should do just fine. To cool the processor, why this build will be called ArcticRyzen, not related to Arctic Panther. We're going to be using an Arctic Freezer 33 Esports 1. Great cooler, has a minimal footprint. It's not that large. We don't have to worry about it contacting any parts of the case. We're just gonna leave it in the single fan configuration because it should be more than enough to cool the processor. I don't foresee it getting too hot or not being able to handle what we're gonna throw at it. So this should be just fine. And to go along with it, we got some parts sponsored by Arctic. We have a lot of their 120 millimeter PWM high pressure fans. So this is just one out of the box. Arctic, thank you. You sent over 3 of these fans. I had 2 myself, but they sent me over a couple of more just so I can complete this build and use all of their products as a cooling option. For the motherboard, we'll be using a B450. So, not quite top of the line, but these have been certified with the new Ryzen 3000 processors. I think the lowest that they're supporting is like AB350. I think I've seen some people use A320s. This board definitely has enough features to complement any of the new Ryzen processors, so you don't really have to worry about if it's bottom of the rung. It is not. These are very capable motherboards. This is a micro ATX format, so it's not full ATX and it's not ITX, so it's definitely right in the middle, especially if you're just trying to keep that smaller footprint without costing a fortune when you want to go the ITX route. For powering it, it does say 650 on the box, but it is not. It is my trusty 550 watt PSU from EVGA. It's not modular, but for this build we're doing, it's not going to be anything extravagant. There's not any RGB. I don't even think that the board has RGB. It supports it. I don't think it glows, but it might. Who knows? For memory, we're going to be using some Ballistic Sport. This is ATX. This is 16 gigs. So definitely we're going to be starting off with quite a bit of RAM. That way you don't really have to invest this in the future if you guys wanted to use the entire setup I'm using today. This will do you just fine. 16 gigs is more than enough. Gives you that little bit of headroom versus using 8 gigs, just in case you run into any applications that might use a little more memory. You're not going to be bottlenecking anything because of memory. And it is 3000 megahertz. I don't know if we'll be able to overclock the memory any with the new Ryzen processor. I don't have any experience in that. There are plenty of other channels that have overclocked memory dealing with the Infinity Fabric from AMD. So definitely check any of those videos out if you want to see how far you can push your memory to make it stable and, of course, make your system more efficient. For storage for the games, we're going to be using a Silicon Power. Yeah, this is a 256 gigabyte SSD. I think it's sufficient enough if you have like a moderate Steam library or a small library of games that you can go ahead and start off with one of these. And then, of course, if you wanted to add something later, like maybe a higher capacity SSD or maybe a regular HDD that you can, expand your library with. But I think 256 gigs is more than enough to get you started. And then we're going to be using an M.2 SSD, 120 gigabytes from Kingston. We're going to be using this as our boot drive that we're going to go ahead and load Windows on and tie everything together. I think that's about it. So, like today I said, it's going to be just a simple build video. It's what we like to do here on the channel. We're going to go ahead, slap all this stuff together, get it booted, get Windows loaded, throw on some games, and see how well this actually does for gaming. We're probably running through about 5 or 6 games if I can get to it. We'll go ahead and circle back at the end of the video and give you my thoughts on the build. As you can see, the system did really good. Of course, it's not going to be the best system in the world so far as frame rates, but with the 1650 Ti, but with the 1650, yeah. But with the 1650 Ti as your GPU, you'll probably run into a little bit more of a CPU bottleneck than you will a GPU bottleneck, which I think is kind of okay because it'll give you that opportunity to upgrade the CPU and you're not going to run out of graphical power just yet. For 1080p gaming, this system, I think it's great, especially handling some of the titles that we showed you in the slides before. You're going to have any issues. Building in the case in that Versa H18 was great. It had enough cutouts. Accessibility to all the components were really, really good, and it looked absolutely amazing. Again, thanks to Arctic for sending those fans down, having all those fans blacked out in the case, populating all the slots. So of course we had the 3 in the front, the 1 on the rear, and the 1 on the top of the case to get enough airflow in the case to keep everything cool, complemented by that Freezer 33 eSport. Overall, I'm satisfied. I will go ahead and link to all the parts down in the description with all the prices. That way, if you guys wanted to go out and purchase all the products that I did put in this build, that you'll be able to do so. The prices might be slightly cheaper now, other than the time of purchase, because I picked up all these parts over a small period of time before I was able to put them together. Plus, I was waiting for the parts from Arctic to come in. So, hey guys, if you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. And go ahead and hit that notification bell to let you know when one of our videos will be uploaded next, so you guys can go ahead and consume that comment right when it's fresh. And like always, guys, be awesome, be heavy. We'll see you on the next one.